At the company party, Rachel's classmate from her time studying in France, Joel, asked her in French, "If I had come back to the country with you back then, would you have been my wife by now?" Rachel answered without even blinking, "Yes." She thought I didn't understand French. What she didn't know was that, just to visit her in France, I had worked incredibly hard to learn the language. But every time I suggested going to see her, she rejected me, forbidding me from coming. I watched the two of them, raised my glass, and in fluent French offered my blessing. "Then I'll wish both of you a lifetime of happiness." Rachel froze. "You speak French?" I finished my drink and smiled. "I learned it in your first year abroad. I just never had a chance to use it before. And I won't need it again in the future." Rachel panicked. Rachel was chatting fluently in French with Joel while carefully feeding me fruit. She didn't even notice that my eyes were slightly swollen. She thought I didn't understand French, so she could speak freely with her old flame right in front of me. What she didn't realize was that over the years, I had learned several languages just to stay on the same wavelength as her. I had mastered 5 foreign languages. Even the casual French conversations she had with Joel, her old lover, I understood perfectly. I pretended not to understand and asked, "What are you two talking about?" She let out a soft laugh and replied half-heartedly, "What else would we talk about besides work? Just work." From relationships to astronomy, they talked animatedly about everything. But when it came to me, she was dismissive and impatient. I once shared a sunset with her, and she called it utterly boring. Yet she praised a stray cat Joel had photographed and talked about it for an entire hour. She had been deceiving me all this time, treating me like a fool. And I had deceived her about one thing too. In a month, I would be sent on a confidential overseas assignment to Country A. No matter what Rachel did, she wouldn't be able to find me. I looked at the girl I had loved for 20 years. She still had the same expression, the same features, but she had completely become someone I no longer recognized. Suddenly, it all felt meaningless. I didn't want to keep playing this game with her anymore. I made an excuse to return to work and stood up. At the same time, Rachel stood as well. "Let's call it a day," she said. "I'll go back with my husband to help him with work." The classmates groaned. "We've barely started catching up. Why leave so soon?" Joel chimed in, "Exactly. We rarely get to meet. Can't you stay a little longer?" I saw the reluctance on Rachel's face. I smiled lightly and said casually, "You stay and enjoy your time with them. I'll head back alone." Without waiting for her reply, I let go of her hand and walked out. After leaving the room, I got into the car and was about to start the engine when I realized the hangover medicine I had prepared for Rachel was still in my pocket. She had a low tolerance for alcohol, and I was worried she might drink too much. I still wanted to give it to her personally. So I got out of the car and went back. From outside the door, I could hear teasing and laughter. On impulse, I pushed the door open slightly, and saw Rachel and Joel, their lips pressed together, separated only by a thin sheet of paper. Rachel's delicate face was flushed. Joel's eyes were filled with desire. Amid the cheers, the paper between them had already fallen at some point. Joel's hand moved to the back of her head, deepening the kiss. My breath caught in my throat. It felt as though a giant hand had clenched around my heart, squeezing it mercilessly. Pain surged through me. Someone in the crowd called out, "Rachel, aren't you afraid Luis will find out?" Rachel pulled away and laughed. "No. He trusts me so much. He'll never suspect anything. And besides, he won't find out about us. Joel and I speak French when we talk, and he doesn't understand." "Well, you two really know how to play. I thought you and Luis were all about pure love. Didn't expect you to fall first." Rachel tilted her head back and drained her glass. "I still love him. But I can't only love him. After so many years with the same person, you get tired. What I'm doing is understandable. As long as it's well hidden and he never finds out, everything will be fine." Her words pushed the atmosphere to a climax, and someone suggested a game of truth or dare. They spun a beer bottle on the table. Whoever it pointed to had to tell the truth. After several rounds, it finally landed on Rachel. A classmate asked with a smirk, "You and Joel were together abroad for 3 years. Did you develop real feelings for him?" Rachel smiled and answered without hesitation, "I truly loved him." The classmate pressed further, "So who do you love more, Luis or Joel?" Rachel lowered her eyes and took a sip of her drink, but her gaze never left Joel. The answer was ambiguous. Standing outside the door, I watched it all unfold. My heart felt torn open, as if a bloody hole had been ripped through it. I thought back to 8 years ago when I married Rachel. She wore flawless makeup, a white wedding dress, and held a bouquet as she walked slowly toward me. Her lips curved into a warm smile, and the shallow dimples on her cheeks looked especially sweet. In that moment, I felt like I had won the entire world. I held her hand high and proudly told the guests that I had finally married the girl I loved most. She cried too, promising to love me for a lifetime. But in just 8 short years, the girl who once made me feel like I had everything had now made me lose it all. I couldn't watch anymore. I turned and walked away. As I did, I bumped into a server bringing in more drinks. I put a finger to my lips and whispered, "My wife is inside cheating. I'm gathering evidence. Please don't tell them I was here." The young man looked at me with sympathy. After confirming he wouldn't say anything, I felt slightly relieved and left. I wiped the tear from the corner of my eye, steadied myself and walked out. I drove to the old courtyard where Rachel and I had grown up. After everyone's lives improved, they had gradually moved away. The place now felt cold and deserted. I sat on the doorstep for a long, long time. In a daze, I seemed to see the girl with pigtails holding my face and making a promise. She had said, "I'll only love Luis in this life." She had said, "Luis, we have to stay together forever. I can't live without you. Rachel, those who break promises must be punished. And so I will punish you. In 1 month, you will never see me again." I stayed there until late at night before going home. The house was pitch dark. I checked my phone. No new messages. I let out a self-mocking smile and turned it off. After showering, I lay in bed and drifted into a half-asleep state. In the middle of the night, I felt the mattress sink. Rachel hugged me tightly from behind, reeking of alcohol. "I'm sorry. I hadn't seen them in so long. I got carried away and drank too much." "Why didn't you call me to pick you up?" I asked flatly. She tightened her arms around me. "Joel lives nearby, so he drove me home. I didn't want to disturb your rest." I hummed and pried her hands away, turning over. She had already fallen asleep. On her neck were glaring kiss marks, pulsing with her heartbeat, like a silent provocation. I couldn't sleep. I went to the living room and lit a cigarette. When the smoke filled the air, I instinctively put it out. Rachel had severe rhinitis and hated the smell of smoke. I had forced myself to quit for her. But now, I didn't want to quit anymore. "Rachel, you're not worth it." I leaned against the couch, lighting one cigarette after another. I remembered university, when a girl relentlessly pursued me. Rachel had dressed up beautifully, held my hand, and walked past that girl repeatedly after class. She had proudly declared, "Luis is my boyfriend, and he'll be my husband. You'll never have a chance." Back then, she was bright, lively, radiant, someone everyone would fall for. But the girl who once had eyes only for me had disappeared. Now she was mature, composed, charming, but no longer passionate, no longer loving me the way she once did. The next morning, I woke to sounds in the kitchen. Rachel, wearing an apron, was cooking. In all our years of marriage, she had never stepped into the kitchen. I had always stopped her, knowing she disliked oil fumes. Had she realized her guilt? I walked in. She had already poured steaming seafood congee into a thermos. "You're awake," she said lightly. "Why did you sleep on the couch?" "I'm heading out. Joel drank too much last night. I'm taking him some congee." She glanced at the empty pot. "It's my first time making congee. I didn't make enough. Just eat what's left." Then she walked out. When she saw the cigarette butts on the floor, she stopped. "Luis, didn't I tell you I don't like you smoking? You don't listen. I'm going to punish you. For the next few days, you won't see me." Then she softened. "I'm just busy with a project. Once it's finished, I'll spend more time with you. You've always wanted to go to Xiqing, right? Next month, I'll take half a month off and go with you." The door slammed shut. Next month. Rachel, there won't be a next month for us. The following week, I didn't see her at all. Joel's social media posts became more frequent. Rachel making soup for him, Rachel drunk and singing love songs for him, Rachel dancing in a flowing dress just to make him smile. Each post flaunted her passionate love for him. I didn't react. I had more important things to do. With 1 week left before I left the country, I began erasing myself from this house. While she made soup for Joel, I shredded the nutrition plan I had made for her. While she sang for him at a bar, I burned our letters. While she kissed him under the moonlight, I threw our wedding rings into the sea. On the day I left, she appeared beside my bed, looking exhausted. "Luis, why does it feel like there's less and less stuff here?" "Decluttering makes the house cleaner," I said calmly. "Things that no longer serve a purpose should be removed sooner rather than later." A flicker of panic crossed her face. "You've worked so hard all these years," she said, holding my arm. "Once I finish this project, I'll make it up to you." Just then, my phone buzzed. Rachel looked at me. "What's been successfully processed?" My heart skipped a beat when I heard her question. I grabbed my phone, quickly locked the screen, and turned it face down on the bed. Luckily, I had changed the screen lock password, so Rachel could only see a few words. I pretended nothing had happened and casually said, "Nothing important. There's a new dessert shop near the community. I thought their products looked good, so I signed up for a membership. I'll get you some small cakes next time." Rachel seemed to relax, lying in my arms and asking coquettishly, "Guess what I brought you?" I froze for a moment, then casually replied, "That chicken wrap from Chunko." Rachel's eyes widened with surprise. "Baby, how did you know?" How could I not know? Back in university, Rachel used to attend various club activities, and inevitably, she would have physical contact with male classmates. I'd get upset and jealous, and to make me happy, she once missed 3 buses just to buy me that chicken wrap. When she appeared with the warm chicken wrap in her hands, I instantly softened. She cupped my face, her eyes filled with affection. "My Luis is such a little food lover. You're so easy to please. Just a few small buns and you're happy." I pretended to be angry, puffing out my cheeks. "It's not that I'm easy to please. It's that I love you and am willing to give you an easy way out. If one day I stopped loving you, even if you dug out your heart and gave it to me, I wouldn't look at you." Now, she still tried to soften my heart with the same trick, but I wasn't willing to give her that chance anymore. Rachel cautiously pulled out the thermal container with the chicken wrap from behind her, offering it to me as if it were a treasure. "I knew nothing could escape your food-loving eyes. You came running as soon as you smelled it." I looked into her eyes, full of tenderness, and gave a bitter smile. "You really can't hide anything from me." It seemed my words had hit a nerve. Rachel lowered her gaze, flustered. "Luis, Seeing her flustered expression, I found it a bit amusing. I took the thermal container from her hands and placed it on the bedside table. Then I pulled out a beautifully wrapped gift box from the drawer and handed it to her. Her face lit up with surprise. "What's this?" Just as she was about to open it, I stopped her. "This is a gift for our 8th wedding anniversary. Wait until then to open it. If you open it now, there won't be any surprise." Rachel nodded and kissed my cheek lightly. "Okay. I'll listen to you. I'll keep it and open it when the day comes." Suddenly, she realized something was off and asked, "Our anniversary is in 2 days. Why are you giving it to me early?" I replied indifferently, "I just didn't want you to be too busy and not have time to give it to you." Rachel spoke with a hint of apology. "Wait for me a little longer. I'll be done soon, and then I'll stay by your side every day." Not wanting to watch her perform her fake act, I stood up and went to the bathroom to freshen up. When I came out, Rachel had already changed into a turquoise mermaid skirt, her makeup meticulously done, looking lively and beautiful. I glanced at her. "What event are you attending today?" She took a necklace, an expensive one my mother had gifted her when we got married, and asked me to help her put it on. It was delicate and valuable, the kind of necklace she had only worn once, on our wedding day. She noticed my confusion through the mirror and explained, "I'm going to the birthday party of the leadership from the client company. For important occasions, One should always dress more grandly. But I had just seen Joel's latest post that today was his birthday. I smiled lightly. It's indeed an important day, so you should dress grandly. Perhaps she picked up on my insinuation. She turned and rushed into my arms. I promise I won't drink too much tonight. I'll come back early to keep you company. Is that okay? I gently pushed her away, forcing a smile. Okay, go ahead. Don't be late for your business. When Rachel saw my smile, she finally relaxed. She put on her high heels and swayed her slim waist as she left. Watching her walk downstairs, I let out a long sigh, wiped away the tears at the corner of my eyes, and turned to grab my suitcase. I took one last look around the house, the one I had lived in for 8 years. This time, I was saying a final goodbye. I took out my phone, took screenshots of all the WeChat moments Joel had posted in the past few weeks, all those visible only to me, and sent them to Rachel. I actually learned French for you during the first year you were abroad. Unfortunately, I'll never get to use it. I agree with your wish to become Joel's wife. May you both grow old together. After doing all of this, I took out my SIM card and threw it, along with a box of chicken wraps, into the trash, then left without looking back. From that moment on, Rachel had completely lost me. After a long journey, I finally arrived in country A, where I was about to start my new life. There was no love here, only work. I would become the person I wanted to be and live for myself from now on. This time, I was here as a core member of the technical team, preparing for a 5-year research project. Meanwhile, back at home, Rachel attended Joel's birthday party. She took out a beautifully wrapped small gift box and presented him with a talisman for peace. I know you lack nothing, so I prayed to the gods for your well-being and a smooth future. I even knelt 3 times to ask for it. This favor is heavier than anything else. As soon as she finished, Joel pulled her tightly into his arms, almost as if he wanted to merge her into his body. The atmosphere reached its peak as he lowered his head to kiss her lips, but this time, she didn't feel the usual thrill. Instead, a dull pain settled in her heart, as if something was about to happen. She hastily pushed him away and ran to the bathroom. Looking at herself in the mirror, she felt dazed. As long as she hid it well enough, Luis wouldn't find out. Besides, when she went to the temple for the talisman, she had also prayed for Luis. Her love for him was no less than her love for Joel. She comforted herself with this thought, but deep down, she felt increasingly uncertain. "What's wrong with you today? You're not in a good mood," Joel asked from behind, wrapping his arms around her tightly. He rested his head on her neck, greedily inhaling her scent, his hands wandering across her body. Only when her dress loosened did she snap back to reality and push him away. "Stop. I need to get home early tonight. I promised Luis." Joel's eyes reddened. "But today is my birthday. Can you stay with me just this last time? I promise I won't see you again unless you allow it." A single tear slipped down her skin, soft and tingling, unsettling her more than his passionate kiss. She was lost again. An hour later, after fixing her makeup that had been ruined by Joel's kisses and taking a hot shower to rid herself of his scent, she drove home. She opened the door to an eerily quiet house. "Luis," she called loudly, but the only response was chilling silence. At that moment, she panicked for the first time. She turned on all the lights and saw the unopened chicken wrap in the trash. Her legs wobbled slightly. She broke down and shouted, "Luis, stop playing games. Come out. I know it's my fault. I promised I'd come back early today, and I broke my promise again. I swear it won't happen again. Please, come out." But all that greeted her was silence. No, Luis wouldn't leave her. He must have just wanted to punish her a little, that's why he was hiding. Rachel repeated this reassurance to herself until her gaze fell on the gift box on the table. Forgetting Luis's warning about waiting, she tore open the wrapping paper in a frenzy. Inside were 2 divorce papers, already signed by him. He hadn't asked for anything, just his freedom, leaving her with nothing. She gripped the thin sheets tightly, her knuckles turning white, her body trembling uncontrollably, almost losing her balance. How could this be possible? Luis loved her so much. How could he suddenly want a divorce? Rachel couldn't understand. She had hidden everything so well. He couldn't have found out. She was as anxious as a cat on a hot tin roof, pacing back and forth. Summoning her courage, she took out her phone to call Luis and explain. But as soon as she turned off airplane mode, a flood of messages from Luis appeared. She could no longer bear it and collapsed to the ground. He had learned French a long time ago. That meant he had heard everything she had said to Joel, all the ambiguous words spoken right in front of him. The thought tore Rachel apart. What must Luis have felt, staying by her side, hearing his wife speak intimately with another man? How painful must that have been? She couldn't continue thinking about it. It felt as though a pair of strong hands were tightening around her neck, making it impossible to breathe. Frantically, she searched for traces Luis might have left behind. Opening a drawer, she found a thick photo album. Maybe, if she relied on memories, she could move him and have a chance to win him back. But the scene in front of her pushed her deeper into despair. The album, filled with over 1,000 photos and memories with Luis, was gone. Disappeared. Now she finally understood. Luis was really gone. He didn't want her anymore. Rachel dug her nails into her palm, the sharp pain briefly restoring her rationality. She used every connection she had, checking airline exit records, even swallowing her pride to beg the leaders at Luis's company for his whereabouts, but came up empty-handed. She forced herself to stay calm, scouring every place he could have gone, but still no news. Luis's parents had died in a car accident 3 years ago. He had no family left but himself. Where could he possibly go? An hour later, she received news from the airport. There was no exit record for Luis today. She was engulfed in overwhelming sadness. This time, she had to accept it. She would never find him again. She couldn't even say the words, "I'm sorry," in time. Holding the thin divorce papers, she traced Luis's signature with her fingers. The pain was almost unbearable. Her tears blurred her vision, soaking the paper and revealing another line of writing. Under the shimmering moonlight, the water ripples, just like my longing, boundless, invisible. An eternal promise had turned into a bubble in an instant. Rachel understood then. She had completely hurt Luis, and he would never come back. The room seemed to spin, and she fainted, not knowing how long it had been before she groggily came to. She forced herself not to think about the painful things that had caused him so much heartache, but the image of Luis, heartbroken and leaving her, kept replaying in her mind. He must have known everything she had done. How had he been able to stay by her side all this time? Luis, who had always lacked a sense of security, had such high expectations of love. On the day they confirmed their relationship, he had said, "I will always be loyal to love. If you ever betray me, I will leave without hesitation and never look back." At that time, Rachel had thought the same. She would love only Luis and never do anything to hurt him. But when had everything started to unravel? Probably the year she went abroad. Alone in a foreign country, she felt lonely and helpless. During this time, she met her university classmate Joel. They spent a lot of time together and eventually developed feelings for each other, crossing a line they shouldn't have. She had gradually forgotten her original intentions and gone further down the wrong path. She had convinced herself that as long as she hid everything well, Luis wouldn't find out. As long as she treated him with sincerity when she returned, everything would stay buried abroad. But she never expected Joel would follow her back to the country. Caught between her love for Luis and her attachment to Joel, she kept jumping back and forth between the two. Eventually, the truth could no longer be hidden. How could Luis, so perceptive, not have noticed the signs? Just as she was thinking this, her phone buzzed with a few delayed messages, all from Luis's number. Excited, she opened them, expecting something soft, a sign he might want to make amends. But instead, the content left her unable to accept it. Her hands trembled so much she could barely hold the phone. She swiped through the screen, seeing post after post from Joel's WeChat moments. Every single thing they had done together, Luis had already seen. The photos, the provocative words. Rachel couldn't breathe. Furious, she called Joel. "Why did you tell Luis everything? Don't you know how important he is to me?" There was a pause on the other end before Joel's hoarse voice responded, "I know he's important to you, but you're just as important to me. I only love you so much. Is it wrong to want you to stay with me forever?" Rachel froze. For the first time, she felt Joel's love like a heavy chain, suffocating her. "Joel," she said coldly, "I warned you. I won't allow you near Luis. Who do you think you are? You made me lose him, and now you'll never have peace either." The more Rachel thought about it, the angrier she became. She drove straight to Joel's place, furiously banging on the door. Joel was unsurprised to see her and smiled as he let her in. But before he could react, she slapped him hard across the face. Before he could even process what had happened, Rachel said through gritted teeth, "Joel, I never imagined you were such a shameless man. You pretend to love me, but you've done nothing but hurt me. You're disgusting." As soon as she finished speaking, Rachel raised her hand again, intending to slap him once more, but he caught her wrist, pulling her into his arms. "I'm sorry, Rachel. I love you so much. I can't stand the thought of sharing you with anyone. Please, believe me. I did it because I love you. I don't think I did anything wrong." Rachel sneered. "I thought I loved you, but after Luis left me, I realized I've always only loved him. You were just a passing rainstorm. When the rain stops, so does everything between us." Joel's eyes turned red as he gripped Rachel's shoulders, looking at her in disbelief. "So, you never loved me at all?" Without hesitation, just as she had before, Rachel blurted out, "To me, you were just a fleeting novelty." Joel gave a bitter laugh. "I gave up my job abroad to come back here and be with you, and now you're telling me you never loved me?" Rachel looked at the man who had caused her to lose the one she truly loved and felt disgusted. "Yes. Not only do I not love you, but I also want you to pay for your actions. I know how important your job is to you, but don't forget, if it weren't for me recommending you, you would never have had the opportunity to work at Panda Group." Joel's eyes widened, and a hint of fear flashed across his face. "What are you going to do?" "I can give you this job, and I can just as easily make you lose everything. This is your just punishment." Seeing that Rachel was determined, Joel gave up pretending. "Rachel, you really disgust me. Back then, it was you who shamelessly slept with me, and now you're putting on an act of deep emotion. Who are you trying to fool?" "What?" Rachel was stunned, unable to believe these words were coming from Joel. Joel ignored her shock and continued, "You couldn't keep your boundaries and cheated on me. You should have known this day would come. I was just helping you out behind the scenes. The real culprit is you, and you have no one to blame but yourself." Each word Joel spoke made Rachel's face grow paler. "And there's something you probably don't know. After I returned to the country and we met for the first time, Luis came to see me. He begged me to leave you. I bet him that you wouldn't leave me. And of course, he lost." Rachel's head spun as though struck by lightning. She fled from Joel's house in a daze. The series of blows to her heart were too much for her to bear. Once outside, her body instinctively reacted with nausea. She collapsed by the roadside, sobbing uncontrollably, her appearance completely disregarded. The following months, Rachel did everything she could to search for any trace of Luis, but it was as though he had completely disappeared from the world. The long period of stress, combined with her depression, eventually caused her to fall ill. Meanwhile, after losing his job, Joel left South City. Word was that things weren't going well for him. 5 years later, in Country A, our team had finally completed this monumental research project, and it was time to apply for our return to the homeland. My mentor asked, "Are you still planning to go back? If not, I can help you apply to stay here." I shook my head. "It's been 5 years. It's time to go home." Upon returning to China, our organization awarded us the highest honor. Major media outlets reported on us, and in no time, we became celebrities both at home and abroad. Amid the crowd, I spotted Rachel at first glance. In my memory, her eyes were always bright, filled with the pride of youth. But now, she was dressed in a plain dark green puffer jacket, dark circles under her eyes, her expression weary. There was no light in her gaze anymore, as if her once vibrant energy was on the verge of disappearing. Tears welled in her eyes as she stood at a distance, silently mouthing, "I'm sorry." After the interview, she made her way through the crowd and unsteadily approached me, her sobs preceding her words. Tears fell from her eyes in heavy drops. The fragile, petite woman seemed as if she might shatter at any moment. I looked at her indifferently. Not a single ripple of emotion stirred within me. Time, indeed, was the best remedy. Fearing her sobs would attract attention, I silently allowed her to get into my car. She took the tissue I handed her, her crying subsiding. Trembling, she said, "I thought I would never see you again. I'm so glad I can still see you." She reached out to touch my face, but I turned my head away, avoiding her touch. I pushed up the gold-rimmed glasses resting on the bridge of my nose, my expression serious and distant, exuding a faint sense of detachment. She seemed to sense something was wrong and quickly withdrew her hand. "Did you come to see me just to have a look?" I broke the silence, my tone neutral, revealing no emotions. She sniffled, her small frame seeming to carry a world of grievances. She looked like she wanted to tell me all the suffering she had endured over the years. But I had no patience to hear it. I glanced at the watch on my wrist, and my voice was as cold as ice. "You have 10 minutes. I have things to do, and I don't have time to sit here reminiscing with you." Hearing this, she finally stopped crying. "I want to explain the things that happened back then. I know I was wrong. I've completely ended things with Joel. These years, I've suffered from severe depression while searching for you. I couldn't sleep at night. I really got my comeuppance. Can you forgive me? I really do love you. Without you, I can't live." Looking at the woman before me, filled with longing, I only found it laughable. "You don't really love me or can't bear to lose me. You just can't accept that someone who loved you for 20 years no longer does. It's like losing a dog you've raised for years. It's not easy to get used to, let alone someone who has been by your side for so long. So don't tell me you love me. The person who truly loves me would never do the things that hurt me. Only after losing something do you begin to cherish it, but that's just because of your unwillingness to let go." She froze, as if finally having her lies exposed. Her head lowered, and she spoke sincerely, "I know no matter what I say, you won't believe me anymore. I made mistakes, and I should bear the consequences. I'm not here to seek your forgiveness. I just wanted to see you one last time. I know there's a gap between us. You are like the shining star in the sky, while I've already rotted in the mud. I don't dare to wish for anything. I just hope you'll be happy. This time, it's really goodbye, Luis." With those words, she opened the car door and stepped out. As she walked farther away, I gave a faint smile and drove off. And we never met again.